Did I get it wrong? Hello guys and welcome back to Planet 40k. In today's video, I want to go into something where I think I might have got something wrong. So a few months ago, I did a tier list. And in that tier list, I put the Psychomancer as a D tier unit. One of the worst units in the Necron's Codex is where I placed it. So in the latest WTC 2025 tournament, so the World Team Championships tournament, I noticed that the Psychomancer was actually in 3 different country team lists. The Belgium team had one in their Necron's list. I think that was the Star Shatter Arsenal. The Welsh team had 3, which was the Canoptic Court. And the French team had 1 in the Awakened Dynasty. And the French team actually went on to win the whole thing. And the Necron's player won 7 out of 8 of his games. And the one that he lost, he only lost by less than 14 points, if my maths is correct. So the Psychomancer being selected in 3 different Necron lists in the WTC, so these are the best players in the world. We've got to start to look at that and start to investigate why they're being selected, because it's not something I would ever imagine selecting if I was to go to a WTC, but I'm not that kind of player. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking back into the Psychomancer's data card. Why are they taking it and what am I getting wrong? Let's discuss it. Tabletop Plastic have a whole host of printed terrain, and I wanted to turn your attention to this WTC tournament terrain set. This is the Gothic ruins with line of sight blocking and platforms. Just one set is enough to fill a competitive WTC board for when you use your 40k chapter approved tournament companion. It comes semi-built, so you simply need to put the tops on. This is so that you can adapt the terrain to any of the 8 layouts within the tournament companion maps. Now we've got a discount code which is Planet 40k 20 for a massive 20% off of your order. Now my code will also apply for any items that you wish to purchase in the Tabletop Plastic webpage. So what are you waiting for? Get yours now. The link for Tabletop Plastic will be down in the video description down below. So why are we talking about the Psychomancer then? There's 3 main reasons for taking a Psychomancer. First, Battle Shock means more than ever. I mean, with primary scoring tied to holding objectives, turning a key enemy unit to 0 OC can completely swing a round of scoring. Secondly, the points cost is absurdly low. Only 55 points for this Psychomancer, which is one of the cheapest utility characters we've got in the Necron's Codex, so you're not committing too many points and you're gaining that tool to flip the game. And thirdly, it slots naturally into the Necron's playstyle. Necrons want to contest the mid-board, grind out attrition, and we want to be pressuring our opponent, especially with certain detachments like the Canoptic Court. We want the power matrix unlocked, so we need to have those objectives in the no man's land. And yeah, the Psychomancer could be the one that swings the tide for those objectives. So let's take a look at the Psychomancer's card. I'm not going to go into all the stats like we used to do. That's already been done this edition. But I wanted to take note of the abilities. So there is the Nightmare Shroud ability, which is the aura. So in the Battle Shock step of your opponent's command phase, so that's where they're scoring their VP, don't forget. If they're below starting strength and they're within 6 inches, they must take a Battle Shock, and it's a -1 to their leadership. So just before they're about to score some primary, you force a Battle Shock. If they fail, they've got no OC, they cannot hold that objective. And the second ability, Harbinger of Despair, once per turn, and it can be at the start of the command phase, the movement phase, the shooting phase, charge phase, or fight phase, basically any phase. You select an enemy unit within 18 inches of this Psychomancer, and they must take a Battle Shock test, subtracting 1 from the test when they do so. So this could be at the start of your command phase, where you're about to score points and you need them to lose OC. You need your opponent's unit that's holding an objective to lose some OC, because then you can literally flip that objective into your hands. Your OC now becomes more than their OC 0. All of a sudden you score 5 points. Or it could be something towards the end of the turn in the fight phase maybe, and you can stop your opponent from bringing out stratagems. It could also be done in the shooting phase, of course. Any phase where you think stratagems may become a problem, when your opponent can bring these out. And it could even be really important stratagems like the interrupt stratagem, where you're interrupting combat, or it could be an Overwatch stratagem, things like that. So why is it so strong in this current meta? What really matters in today's competition environment? Imagine an enemy unit sitting on a mid-board objective and they're planning to score some primary points. They're ready to pop a defensive stratagem to survive the shooting that you're about to do. Maybe you've got a Doomsday Arc, maybe you've got a crap load of Locust Destroyers. They're going to pop a stratagem. But if they fail that battle shock, they've got no OC anymore. They can't pop the stratagem, meaning you can literally shoot them and push them off the objective. Against elite armies such as Custodes or Space Marines, that single failed roll can swing 10 or even 15 primary points over the course of a game. And against Horde armies, it's even easier because you're more likely to be within range because the Horde units have got more of a footprint to get within 18 inches or 6 inches depending on which ability you're going to be using. Now the Psychomancer doesn't kill things directly, but it definitely changes the maths on the objectives, and that's where games are won and lost. Now there are some counters and limitations to having a Psychomancer. Armies with a very high leadership, or there are ways of ignoring battle shock tests. Those kind of factions aren't going to care so much about a Psychomancer being on the board. For example, Cysts of Battle can cause acts of faith. Demons, where passing a battle shock test they bring back models, or they bring back wounds for their unit. Against those kind of factions, the Psychomancer won't be doing as much. And sometimes, of course, your opponent just rolls hot, and you can set up the perfect situation, they roll a really good leadership test, and yeah, your Psychomancer kind of hasn't done enough. So it's not a guarantee. Now, don't get me wrong, he's not a replacement for the Chronomancer or the Technomancer or the Plasmancer, which is where I think I've gone wrong with it. I've always seen him as, well, what's it going to be replacing? You're not replacing a Chronomancer in the Immortal unit, you're not going to be replacing a Plasmancer in the Immortal unit, for example. But what I've noticed in these WTC lists is it's running solo. It's not being led by a unit, it's not got warriors, it's not got immortals, it's not leading a unit, it's just running solo. So therefore what they're doing is they're literally throwing it into a ruin, ground floor of a ruin. Obviously not too close to the wall because you can still get caught within engagement range. But you don't need line of sight to do these abilities. Both of the abilities that it has does not require line of sight at all. So as long as you're tucked in and you can't be shot at and you can't be engaged in melee as easy, then you can be popping off both of these abilities. Now, are the Psychomancers flashy? Not really. They don't deal big damage. The weapons are only, one attack with melee, one attack at range. They're not great. He's not going to carry the game on his own. That's not what he's about. But he does disrupt, and it's normally at really critical moments. And for just 55 points, it's not really a lot. Even if it doesn't do enough or doesn't do anything, 55 points isn't the worst. You can even be using him as an action hero as well if you really wanted to. So honestly, like going full circle here, I was probably quite harsh to give it a D. I was definitely using him wrong. Where do I see him now? I mean, I need to go have a few more games with him. I can't just sort of predict. I mean, I suppose I can predict. I can make a prediction. At the moment, I could probably predict him maybe as far as a B. I mean, if the best players in the world are using him, I'm definitely in the wrong. So I need to start sticking him in my list and getting some game time with him, using him in that way. Are you guys using him though? That's the main question I want to ask you guys. Are you using him? If not, are you going to start trying him out? Because I definitely am. So guys, that is it from me today. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you are subscribing on your exits, and I'll see you guys in the next one.